50 years of development in medicine and surgery. Gee, it's hard to believe, but actually I've been in practice for nearly 50 years, just under 50 years. Well, another 50 to go. Anyway, here's my personal recollection of what's happened over those 50 years in terms of development. You'd expect a lot, wouldn't you? But you might be surprised by what I'm going to tell you. In terms of medical things, medications, there's a great promise of DNA from 1953 when it's first described as going to deliver all sorts of new drugs and treatments. It hasn't really happened. There's limited areas in oncology, but coming into general practice or everyday practice, it just hasn't happened. So that's been a huge disappointment. It's been useful catching criminals, insurance policies. Other things like aspirin, fish oil, herbal things, they've been around for a long time. Aspirin over 100 years. Herbal medications probably hundreds of thousands of years. They still hold promise and still around. Big Pharma basically has failed to deliver. We desperately in need of antibiotics to deal with the resistance, but there's none on the horizon. Phytochemicals have been around for a long time. These are plant-derived chemicals. Australia is covered with eucalyptus trees. There's great interest in the 50s and 60s, but not that much now. We need to have further investigation of those. They could help out with antibiotic treatment. TB and malaria, they remain huge problems. Ancient infections still around the world. Some slight improvement, but it should have got further with it. Should add to this AIDS. AIDS has come down quite a bit, but we still haven't got a cure for it. And we still haven't got a vaccination for it. The other vaccinations that have been around, in particular polio, wiped out polio in the 50s, which is great to see. And our medical scientists have done a great service for us in developing the COVID vaccination so quickly in 12 months to show what medical science has done. But overall, in terms of drugs, a lot of promise, a lot of hype, not that much delivered. Surgical. The key for the critical thing for surgery is doing it through a small incision to reduce infections, improve rehab times. It has developed in many areas, but not nearly as fast as it should have. Elective orthopedics, my area. Hip replacements took off in the 60s, other joint replacements, but not much has really happened since the 60s. In terms of fixation of fractures, that has been successful. So trauma is much better managed now. People don't lie around hospital beds for weeks or months on end. But the rush system of fixation using pins and bones that was developed in the 50s by the Rush brothers haven't really improved on that greatly. And the nails that we put in, they're already developed in the 30s by a German surgeon. There's been no huge developments on it, so it's a bit disappointing actually. My opinion is the future of surgery is to have minimal disturbance between the skin and the area of disturbance, that is where the fracture is, where the tumor is, where the bowel obstruction is. We have to work out a way of not disturbing normal tissue. Yet to be done, should have been done, yet to be done. Other things that have really made a difference to health is patients improve fitness, exercise, people looking after their weight, doing regular exercise, people in their 60s, 70s and 80s really looking after themselves and therefore living longer and looking after their weight. People not smoking, of course, you wouldn't believe it, but that was accepted. 50s, 60s now, smoking is shown for what it is. Reduced alcohol use, that's starting to help now. Change drug abuse, illicit drug abuse, I think that's still continuing, although people know the problems with it. What is the future? Overall, I think it's an anti-aging medication, such as growth hormone supplements. But many medical boards, such as in Australia, are against us. I'm not sure why. You want to reduce our aging and promote supplements and look at it seriously. We really need to get onto this. So overall, DNA did not live up to its promise. Vaccinations have. Surgery really needs to get going. A lot more developments required, and the future's with anti-aging. Well, this is what I've noticed over my last 50 years nearly of practice. So I hope all my young colleagues coming behind me get on with these things, innovate, develop things so we can further improve the care of our patients. Good luck and thanks for listening.